Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, December 3rd. So today we do have the moon in Leo for the majority of the day. We are going to see that moon go void, of course, at 9:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are shifting into Virgo energy, which we will lock into at 10:51 p.m. So, of course, the transition from Leo energy to Virgo energy is a little bit heavy, a little bit weighted, mostly because we are moving out of a very excitable, very high energy fire sign to a earth energy. Virgo energy, of course, is a mutable earth energy. Mutable means that we have been presented with information, thoughts, details, ideas, feelings that we have to process. It is ruled over by Mercury, but of course is an earth sign. So this is about what's going on in our mental plane and what we're actually going to do about it in our physical realm. There is a little bit of an oomph. It feels like we're coming, out of what has been a very, I'm going to say, exploratory time of fun, playful energy, of excitement, of passion. And now we got to get grounded. We have to get logical. We have to get practical. We have a mess to clean up. We have to organize our thoughts, organize our feelings, organize our physical realms. There's a lot to process. There's a lot to think about. And of course, as we enter into this Virgo energy, we will be setting ourselves up for the last quarter moon that will be taking place at the latter degrees of this Virgo transit. So not only do we have that shift going on here today, but this is the last day that Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, will be in her rulership in Libran energy. She shifts out of her place of power, moves into Scorpio energy here Monday, December 4th. If you haven't listened to that Astro forecast or downloaded your zodiac forecast to know where this is going to take place in your life, I'm going to recommend that you do just that. But again, reminder, any planet that is coming to a final degree, coming to the ending of a zodiac sign, there is an applied pressure here. And especially Venus being in her rulership, in her comfort zone, the last thing that she wants to do is be dethroned. So there is going to be an intensity in our heart space, likely a lot of heart activations, especially seeing as, of course, the moon being in this Leo energy for the entirety of the day has us very heart-centered, really figuring out who and what makes us happy, what it is that we want to pursue, what we can do to bring some playful excitement energy back, and of course, truly go after what it is that our heart and soul wants us to pursue. So there are 8 different aspects taking place here today. 6 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon, while still very much in Leo energy, going to make a positive interaction with Neptune. Neptune, of course, is retrograde in his place of power in this Pisces energy, rules over our dreams, our spirituality, our intuition, imagination, and confusion and delusion. Okay, so the moon being in this Leo energy, very creative, right? We're stepping into our creative force energy. We're stepping into this new version of self. We're really taking Sagittarius season to its limits by exploring new passions, new excitement, new ideas, new wants, needs, and desires to bust out of the same old, and really kind of jump into something new. Well, the moon interacting with Neptune in this way, first of all, brings our intuition into our physical bodies. We're really feeling good, or maybe not so good, about some of the ideas, some of the dreams, some of the visions that we're now being downloaded with. Not only is our intuition peaking, but again, creative force energy. We're really moving into La La Land. We can spend a little time in imaginary land, fantasy land. We're coming up with new ideas, with new inspirations that we can bring down in the physical body through that heart space that the moon in Leo is providing us to kind of channel through, and really coming up with a new passion, new excitement, new inspiration on what it is that we want to express out into the world, leave our mark on the world with, and really kind of get to creating. The moon is then going to get into the boxing ring and square off with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. He likes to shake things up. He likes to kind of give us a different jolt of unexpected energy in order to open up our mind to new ways of doing things. But of course, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus energy, trying to show us where it is that we're holding on too tightly to the world, to the realm, to the reality that the old version of self had created. We resist change like a plague. in this Taurus energy. And so this particular interaction, normally if this was a favorable interaction, we would have an aha moment, an epiphany, a huge amount of insight being downloaded to us where we just know something that we can't unknow, and therefore we have to kind of follow the path to see what it wants us to reveal. But this is a square. This is a tension point. This is going to illuminate the conflict that we are currently feeling. The moon, very much in this Leo energy, wants us to fully express ourselves, wants us to really kind of jump in and initiate something new. The Uranian energy is bringing an element of confusion because the Taurus energy that we're rooted in, that we're afraid to let go of, that we're kind of afraid to make changes in, really blocking the amount of creativity that the moon in Leo will allow us to express. So although we have some big ideas, some big thoughts, some visions that we would kind of like to explore, there is a hesitation and a resistance immediately from us to kind of stick to the same old, same old. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, again in the final degrees of her rulership in Libran energy, going to get into the boxing ring and square off with Pluto, the great transformer, who of course is in Capricorn energy. Because Pluto is at the final degrees of Capricorn, any planet that is coming towards the end of their journey in a sign is going to kind of interact with Pluto. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, although normally in a square it doesn't feel very good. But what we have to be illuminated to at this particular point is where it is that we've been trying to stay in the shallow end, trying to stay at face value with our thoughts, with our feelings, especially where we know damn well that some relationship dynamics have just got to go. The Plutonian energy going to shake us up, intensify things, really put us in the deep-seated psychological part of our brain, of our conditioning, of our programming, to see where it is that we are trying to make excuses, justify why it is that we should just settle, why it is that we should just be content with the way that things are going, especially with some relationship dynamics. Again, Venus being in this Libran energy, we just want to balance things out. We're actually willing to choke on our own words if it means bringing peace to the people, to the world around us. But we know that the minute that we bite our tongue in order to make other people happy, we begin a war within ourselves, and those particular days are over. So this particular interaction likely going to intensify these heart activations because we can't really turn a blind eye to the dysfunction, to the discontentment, to the overall energy of not being in alignment to this new version of self. The moon is then going to trine the north node in Aries energy. This is a huge indication that those earlier squares are leading us to understand where it is that we do have to break away from the past, where we do have to make some changes and adjustments to how it is that we've been doing things. And of course, that north node in Aries energy, that's the path that we need to get on, to be more independent, to take the leadership role, to be bold and brave and courageous, to put our own wants, needs, and desires ahead of everyone else's, and know that is not a selfish act. We have to get to know ourselves. We have to center in this new version of self, because authenticity is the highest vibration that we can be reaching at this point in order to really help improve the collective's energy. So the moon interacting with the north node, this is showing us where it is that we do see a path forward. We do see the element that is calling us to break away from the old, to really express ourselves fully from that heart space that the Leo energy has us in order to clear the air, clean the slate, and give ourselves an opportunity to grow and heal within ourselves. The moon then interacts with Neptune again, this time not in the nicest way. We're confused. We don't know what we're doing. We don't even know whether what we're currently feeling is actually ours to feel. This is when things get overwhelming, and the Neptune being retrograde in Pisces energy is forcing us to kind of curl up in a ball, detach from reality, and not be very clear, very confident with what it is that we're thinking, what it is that we're feeling. There's definitely going to be a fogginess that kind of comes over us, and we are hypersensitive. We're very overstimulated, and because of that, we are definitely going to want to retreat, kind of pull back, and really kind of get to know what energy we are experiencing and whether or not that is ours to own. Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, is in Sagittarius energy and will be making a not so nice interaction with Jupiter, who happens to rule over the Sagittarius energy that Mars is in and Sagittarius season that we're all currently in. Jupiter, of course, is about growth and expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, and he is retrograde in this Taurus energy. So Mars, again, who wants to take action, wants to make moves, who's feeling kind of restless, wants to really, push and progress himself on a new path, in a new quest, on a new adventure. Because Sagittarius energy is about discovery, about exploring what we're passionate about, what we're motivated about, what is actually inspiring us to take action and make moves to push ourselves forward. But of course, Jupiter is currently retrograde. There's not a whole lot of opportunity to make moves in our physical realm right now because the moves that need to be made are bossing up within ourselves. We have to build our confidence, build our self-esteem. We have to step back and act as the observer and actually conjure up a vision, a plan on what it is that we want to do so that we can execute it well and not just waste time, waste energy, taking action just for the sake of staying in a particular movement. The moon is then going to interact with Pluto in not the nicest way. Again, the moon coming towards the end of the Leo energy, reaching those final degrees, going to be aspecting Pluto at the final degrees of the Capricorn energy. This is going to be a shake up, a wake up in our heart space. Suddenly, we're feeling a little bit dark, a little bit intense. We're feeling held back. We're feeling restricted. We're really feeling like we don't know what we're supposed to do with all this pent up energy and aggression within us. Pluto comes in. He shows us where it is that we're getting a little bit down on ourselves, where we're kind of making a bigger deal out of some of the situations than it actually needs to be. And because of this, it's putting us in a different perspective to see where the woe is me, victimhood mentality is creeping up within us again. We have the opportunity to flip that script into something more empowering. So the last thing that we have going on is 9:12 p.m. This is the last time that we are going to have the moon in Leo make an aspect before going void, of course, and locking into that Virgo energy. Lucky for us, it's a positive interaction. The moon in Leo is going to sextile, merge energies with Venus in the last degrees of her rulership in Libran energy. So what this is going to do is help us balance out our actual emotions. Again, things kind of got tipped in one direction or the other with those earlier not so nice aspects that are highlighting for us where it is that we're not feeling in control, not feeling empowered, not feeling like we can take action and make moves. So the moon sextiling with Venus is kind of bringing a balanced energy back to our heart space, showing us where it is that, yes, we are going to be able to make moves and jump into something new and truly express ourselves. However, we have to take a more logical, practical, balanced approach on how we do that. Going from one extreme to the other is never fun, especially when heart activations are concerned. And because there is this applied pressure of Venus being at these final degrees, it is kind of like a little bit of a life lesson, a reflection back over these last couple of weeks, and really understanding now, putting into a different perspective where our relationship standings currently are at.